Okay, today's cleanup project is a Savage 1907. This is one of my favorite guns. The looks of the gun is just, this was Art Deco before Art Deco existed. This is if Frank Lloyd Wright had got together with the gun makers and came up with this thing. It's just really a cool looking gun, and has a few unique features and disassembly process that is worth sharing. So this particular gun was probably made in the 20s. You can tell it's a later version by the number of serrations on the slide. The older model had beefier, I think there were about 8 bigger serrations. This has about 21. And so that's an easy way to tell when the gun was made. This 45 version of this gun was in the trials for the Army against the Colt 1911. We all know how that turned out, but this was Savage's, one of Savage's only attempts at a pistol, and I think it finished second, so it did pretty well. And so they decided to make a consumer version of this thing, and they used some very novel advertising. They got people like Bat Masterson and Buffalo Bill Cody to make ads for them, newspaper ads, and apparently sold a bunch of these things. They were very popular. This one is in 32 ACP. There was also a 380 version, and I think later on they had some different later versions of these things, but the 1907 is kind of the classic. So anyway, to get going, first thing we'll do is pull out the magazine. It has a rather unique, and the one awkward thing about this gun, a toe mag release. Push this little button in, pull out the magazine, and then we'll show that the gun is clear. No problem there. So first thing you need to do is slide all the way back and push up the safety so that it locks back. This little item here is actually a cocking indicator. It is not a hammer, although it sure looks like one and operates like one, but it basically indicates that the gun is cocked, and you can actually use it to cock the gun if there's already a shell in the chamber. But anyway, what you want to do is sort of pinch it along the bottom of this end here and turn it 90 degrees, and then pull it out while you're pressing on that to have this clear the back of the gun. All right, so this contains your striker, all the springs, everything. Probably not something you want to mess with unless you have a problem. Again, these things can be a little tricky, and finding parts is next to impossible at this point. So once you have that out, then you can pull back on the slide just a tiny bit again, release that safety lever, and control it coming off. And basically the barrel and the recoil spring will come out, and here's your slide. Not much to it at that point. The extractor is in this firing mechanism, and the ejector is back here. So there's really nothing to mess with here. Even the sights are built in. So that's the entire thing. Uniquely, this has you'll be able to see the curved track in there that these lugs slide. The barrel does actually rotate. There was a theory about how it was actually a delayed blowback locking breech. A lot of argument on that. You can watch a ton of videos on that. Supposedly the centrifugal force of the bullet coming out of the barrel was enough to hold it long enough before it started moving back and turning, and that's why they called it the patent. Actually, is for a locking breech. But like I said, a lot of controversy on that one. People have taken super slow motion cameras, and it does not look like it does a whole lot. But anyway, the gun still works great, and it's a fun little gun. So on the frame, there is a few small parts around the trigger mechanism. Again, unless you have an issue there, probably not worth messing with. And that's about it. There isn't a whole lot left in here. So I will warn you, these grip panels are held in with little clips. The clips, the panels themselves are really hard to find, if at all possible, and very fragile. These are an old hard rubber that's more like a piece of plastic and very fragile. So be very careful with those panels unless you have some urgent need to get in here. I would not mess around. There's really nothing left in there to mess with. So anyway, we'll get this wiped down, cleaned up, and then we'll come back and get it back together. Okay, get it cleaned up. Everything looks pretty good. I should have mentioned before, but this magazine is actually kind of unique. It was the really one of the first double stack magazines, even before the Browning came up with the double stack for the high power. This magazine will hold 10 rounds of 32 ACP. That was the big selling point, was 10 shots quick. It's actually a very stout, rather expensive to find now, so take care of it. But one of the many innovations in this gun. So anyway, first thing we need to do is get the recoil spring back onto the barrel, slide that into the slide. Going like that. This bigger lug will go down into this notch in the gun, and get the slide lined up on the frame, and then begin to push it all the way back again. Turn on the safety, that will hold it back there. Take this firing mechanism again, slide it in at that 90-degree angle, press on that cocking piece again, which will pull this little notch in, and it will slide all the way in. Again, turn it back 90 degrees till it's even here, and then release the safety. And you gotta get that thing turned just right. There we go. And now you got it back together. And your magazine back in, and your gun is ready to go. So that is the Savage model 1907. Great little gun, a lot of cool features, very ahead of its time, and still performs just fine. And if you happen to come across one, definitely worth looking into. All right, that's it for today. Stay safe, and we'll catch you next time.